Hello everybody, Phoenix real estate agent John Cunningham here. Today's question is it better to buy a fixer-upper or a move-in ready home? Okay, a couple of simple qualifying questions for you. Are you handy? Are you skilled in a specific trade? Are you well versed in several of the construction trade? Have you ever fixed something up before? Have you ever managed a group of subcontractors? Or have you ever been part of a project where a general contractor did all the work, hired the subs, and made sure everything got done? If you answered yes to any of those questions, then a fixer-upper might be perfect for you. If you answered no to most of those questions, or the idea of doing those things didn't sound like something you would want to do, then maybe a move-in home might be for you. And this video is really to help those of you who are on the fence make a decision about whether or not buying something that needs a little bit of fix-up or a lot of fix-up, or buying something that's completely move-in ready is the best direction for you to move in. Now, for those of you thinking about buying a fixer-upper, I have some personal experience with this. When I was in my 30s, I bought one of my first homes in the Coronado district in downtown Phoenix. And this home wasn't in bad condition, but I really wanted to remodel it. And I took the whole thing on myself. I mean, I did everything. One thing I didn't have to tackle was the wiring. It had already been done and it was in good condition, and so was the plumbing. But I did rip out all the cabinets. I tore out the bathroom, the tub, the bathroom cabinets, all the flooring in the whole house. I even tore out the landscaping. So every day after work, every weekend, I was working on that house, and it was a labor of love. And I happened to be single at the time, so I was effectively living on a construction site. The whole house was a bit of a disaster for quite some period of time, partly due to the fact that I was doing all the work myself, partly due to the fact that my budget was limited, and I'd get a check every week from work and I'd take what I could, buy some materials and do some work. I even re-stuccoed the whole house myself. Now, it took me several weeks to get that done. I would do what I could every single day until I got the job done, but it turned out great. And now it's like 30 years later and that stucco is still on that house today. And I think the most exciting part of the whole project wasn't the money that I was saving. That was good too, but it was really getting to use my hands, getting to use my mind and create a vision and bring it to fruition. It was very gratifying. So if you think that that is something that stimulates you beyond just the money that you're going to save, because you will save money doing the work yourself, obviously. So if that's something that might motivate you, I would encourage you to go for it. Now let's talk about the savings. We've already mentioned that if you do the work yourself, you're obviously going to save money. But at the same time, if you're buying a fixer-upper, you should be able to pay less for it than a home that's been fixed up. The homes that have been properly fixed up, they command top dollar in the market. So if you're buying something that is similar floor plan to one next door that has been completely fixed up, then you should be able to buy that for less money, depending on the amount of work that needs to be done. If you're taking on a fixer-upper, you need to know how to come up with a realistic budget. You need to know how you're going to fund the job. Do you have the money saved to do it? Are you going to do it little by little? Do you have the tolerance to see it through? Do you have a couple of children and a wife who might be living with you? If that's the case, really think about whether or not your family wants to live on a construction site. And do you have the ability to maybe live somewhere else while you do the work on the house and get everything done, so that while you're living there, you're not having to deal with the construction mess. Speaking of budget, one of the things you can do to fund the project is to roll the cost of the construction work into the mortgage. Now, there's a couple different ways to do this. One of the most popular, well-known loans is the FHA 203K loan, where the lender dribbles out the money in patches as the work progresses. You can also do this with a conventional construction loan. So there's more than one way to finance this if you don't have all the money saved up for your construction. My lender, Market Line Mortgage, and Tom Hemmingson, his contact information is down below. He's well versed in both of these loans, so talk to him to get more information about that. Really give some thought to whether or not the fix-up work is cosmetic, paint, flooring, drywall, vanities, cabinets, that sort of thing, or if you've got structural issues like with the foundation, or if you've got major issues with the roof. Things like that can be a little more daunting for somebody who's just a weekend warrior than just a home that needs cosmetic repairs. When people buy a fixer-upper, oftentimes they're looking to save some money, right? So sometimes they're just looking for a house that they think needs to be improved. They think that they have the skills to make those improvements, and they don't give a lot of thought to location all the time. But I would encourage you to always think about location, whether or not you're satisfied with it and whether or not it's going to be a good investment for you long term. So in a way, you really want to treat this like you would any other home purchase. You want to do your research up front. You definitely want to have a home inspection. Home inspectors have a keen eye to be able to find things that the naked eye doesn't always see. They know where to look, they know how to look, they know how to document everything. And that home inspection report itself will help you create a realistic budget for what you need to do in order to make the improvements that you have in mind. Let's talk for just a minute about the other side of the coin, the move-in ready home. The move-in ready home can be a great option for people. You know, there's this perception that the flippers are getting wealthy flipping houses. But the truth of the matter is that for most home flippers, it's a way of making a living. And many of them are doing a fantastic job breathing new life into these older homes that are just ripe for a remodel. At some point, a house just gets tired and worn out and needs to be redone. And there are some obvious signs that a job was done really well or not so well. And usually those can be seen with the naked eye. Workmanship is something that will come to the surface if you really have a critical eye and know how to look at a project and tell, whether or not the cuts were made by a craftsman or somebody with a chainsaw. If the work was done right, buying a move-in ready home can be a great deal, and it can also alleviate a lot of stress. If everything has been done correctly, then you could be moving into a place that could serve your family for years. Just make sure that the contractor, if you're buying an older home, didn't just do the stuff on the surface. Did they replace the sewer line? Some of those older sewer lines are made out of clay-based pipe, and they get all sorts of roots in them, and they can cost upwards of $10,000 to have them replaced. Make sure that the electrical system has been significantly updated. Make sure you've got a new electrical panel on the house. Make sure that all the receptacles and switches and plugs have been replaced and wired properly. Make sure that you're going to be buying a house that doesn't have aluminum wiring, which can be prone to be a fire hazard. Likewise, you want to make sure that the plumbing has been replaced, not just the fixtures you see on the outside, but the pipes inside of the house. If they're galvanized, old steel pipes, you want to make sure that those have been replaced with modern copper pipes or PEX plumbing. And my final option for you would be new construction. If you're considering new construction, this can be a really exciting way to go. Just make sure you do it right and you don't get taken advantage of. Make sure to bring an agent with you. Don't just wander into the sales office on your own, because that salesperson, while they might have a great smile and a great handshake, they're bound to serve their client, who is the home builder. So they don't have your interest at heart. They're there to sell you as much as possible. I've got a video right here all about the cost of buying a new build. So if you're interested in that, make sure to check that out. Before I get started, I've got something for you. I've got a home buyer checklist linked down below. You can just click on that and download that, and that'll guide you through the entire home buying process. And I've also got a home buyer guide in the form of a YouTube playlist. This is really great. Make sure to check out both of those resources down below. Now, I'm not sure if buying a fixer-upper or a move-in ready home is better for you, but hopefully you've got some more answers now. And make sure to check out my next video right here. In the meantime, thanks for checking out this video about buying a fixer-upper or buying a move-in ready home. See ya.